Hello. Are you ready to talk about cruising? I am. And look, you can't be outside the cruise ship while it's sailing. It seems like that would get you banned, but there's a cruise stunt that happened that seemed pretty risky, but it's amazing at the same time. It's one of those things you can't unsee. And talking about things you can't unsee, look at this. Okay, that's it's not real. But wouldn't it be wild, Jenny B with a big cat like that? Yeah, look, I got an important question to ask you that they're not going to ask you on cruise ships. How do you like your meat? How do you like your meat? And there's a cruise ship that's going away. That plus more. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. Let's talk about this first. Carnival Cruise Line is announcing that there will be itinerary changes on 4 of their sailing vessels happening in 2025 and 2026. I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds here, but it's going to be the Carnival Valor, the Carnival Elation, the Carnival Conquest, and the Carnival Panorama. If you're on any of those cruise ships in 2025 and 2026, you may want to check and make sure that your sailings have not been altered. How about that? Are you familiar with Royal Caribbean's cruise ship, the Song of America? The Song of America. This cruise ship was built back in 1982, and at some point it left the Royal Caribbean fleet and went to work for Celestial Cruises as the Celestial Olympia. And well, sadly, it's time to pour one out for it because it's ended up in the scrapyard in Alang. Man, I hate it when a good old cruise ship gets scrapped, but nothing can be forever. Looking at the picture there, you can definitely see the Royal Caribbean vibe from back in the day. But yeah, you ever sail on Song of America? I have not. But yeah, that's what happens. Sometimes these cruise ships go away. All right, Carnival and other cruise lines saying, you can't always have it your way. We're not Burger King. If you've been on any of these cruise lines, especially Carnival, they've got the predominant Guy's Burger. When you go to Guy's Burger, you're going to get your burger cooked one way. How you like your meat doesn't matter. When it comes to Guy's Burger, you're just going to get it cooked all the way through. You're not going to be able to get any medium rare meat. And I think this may take some new cruisers by surprise, especially, people that like to have their meat cooked medium rare, hamburger cooked. Of course, you're going to get your steaks and stuff like that cooked medium rare. But yeah, sometimes on land, you can get any kind of temperature that you want on your hamburgers. But that's just not the case when it comes to cruise ships. I just bring the story up just to remind people out there that when you're going to like the grill on Princess there on the Lido deck, or you're going to wherever you can get a hamburger at on Royal Caribbean, if you're going to the buffet sometimes, if you're going to Guy's Burger, if you're going to the Cheeseburger in Paradise over on Margaritaville, they're not going to cook it to order. You're just going to get what they got. And so be prepared for that. Now, before we go any further, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni, a valuable service that we all need. We've got our data out there on the internet. We're telling people our name and our birthday and our address, our social security number, all kinds of stuff. All that data being aggregated and collected by data brokers and then sold to who knows where. People search websites where your potential employer, your landlord, or a stalker, or anybody can type in your name and get your data that you've put out there on the internet. And these data brokers, they're supposed to remove your data if you ask them to, but who are these data brokers? That's the big challenge that you face. They'll remove the data if you can get to them and figure out who they are and go through whatever process they have. Well, that's where Incogni comes into play. Like I said, it's a service that removes your sensitive data from these data brokers. Real simple process. You sign up, you authorize Incogni to work on your behalf. They know who the data brokers are. They know their process. Completely automated. Get your private data protected and away from data brokers who are just going to resell it. It's bad out there. This is just one example. 190 million people's data breached. Cool thing is you can try Incogni at a discounted price. Scan the QR code here. Use my code LALIDOLOCA in the link in the description below for 60% off of your Incogni annual subscription. Big thanks to Incogni for sponsoring today's episode. All right, let's keep this show rolling. I meant to mention it last month, but I forgot. You guys know who Super Mario is? Super Mario is a cruiser that cruises primarily on Royal Caribbean. And when I say cruises primarily on Royal Caribbean, he just got acknowledged for sailing on his 1,000th 1,000th cruise on Royal Caribbean. Let that sink in. I think my count right now, I've been cruising for 8 years, and I do it a lot because it's part of my job. I've been on 60-something cruises. Super Mario been on 1,000 cruises. That's a lot. 1,000 cruises. Yeah, so he's been cruising for 25 years. He was recently interviewed by the New York Post, and I'd seen Mario say this before. They asked him, what's the biggest challenge about cruising for 25 years? Well, his legs don't work right no more. How about that? Did you anticipate? He said he spent so much time on sea that he does not have land legs anymore. So when he gets off the cruise ship to go for whatever he has to go for on land, he sways a little bit. So look, pros and cons. I don't think I have enough time in my life anymore to sail on 1,000 cruises. That's a whole kind of reworking. I don't even know that I would like to do that. But congratulations, Super Mario, for celebrating 1,000 cruises on Royal Caribbean. Now, I did have a cool opportunity the other day to visit Norwegian Cruise Line's creative studio in Tampa. They never really have anybody over there, and I was part of a small group that got to go visit it. We got to see the brand new Revolution show. That is a show that was developed by Patty Wilcox. She's a famous director and choreographer. They worked with the Prince family there. This is funny. You can't just use, it's not funny, but it's interesting. You can't just use Prince music willy-nilly. You have to work with the estate of Prince, and there has to come to some sort of agreement. I think it took like 7 years for this whole collaboration to happen. And this is a show that's going to debut on the NCL Aqua later this year. And we got to see a lot of it. It was in a rehearsal hall, which is, pretty scaled back, bare bones. But this is a really interesting show. There's seats for the show. You can sit in the show, but then there's also going to be an on the floor. It's like going to a concert back in the day. You could either buy tickets up in the seats, or you could get your general admission. You don't have to buy tickets for this. This is included in the cruise, but the setup's kind of like that. So you can sit in the seats, or you can be a part of the on the floor part. And they have big elements that eventually form that Prince symbol that move around during the show. So it was wild. It was wild. Now look, I got a lot of footage of it, but I can't share a lot of it all at once. Like, I think I can only share up to 30 seconds of the video. And I made a full long video, which included a panel by the Norwegian bigwigs talking about the whole process. That's a long video, and I know not everybody was into the full hour, but I know there's some theater nerds out there that were into the full hour. So I just want to give the people that may not have saw the big long video, let me give you a little bit of the Prince show. It was quite cool. It was quite.
Yes, I must be dumb, 'cause they had a pocket full of horses. Trojans, some of them used. But he was stabbing. Let's work! One more time, let's work!
There you go. I could talk about this Prince thing all day, and maybe I'll do a longer episode, but the way they set the show up is really neat. 4 different princes representing different epochs in Prince's life. I can't wait to see this show on the NCL Aqua. And now let's talk about one of the most risky and probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen when it comes to cruise ships. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Okay, let me show you this footage. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Dance break. Dance break. Get up. Get up. Let's do it. You feeling it? I'm feeling it. Wait, I got a bonus here. Oh, here we go. Dance break with a little juggling. Woo! All right, let me set the stage for this video I'm about to show you. Ponant is a cruise line that does cruises to the Arctic, and they were contacted by a ballerina named Victoria Dauberville, and she pitched, hey, is there some way I can do a video, that I can do a performance on the outside of the cruise ship? And they said, hey, yeah, when we go to the Arctic on our cruise ship, you have the bulbous bow that sticks out of the water that's very stable. And if you want, you can do a little dance. You can dance if you want to. So they took her out there. Her boyfriend was there taking footage and photography. I'm going to share a little bit from her Instagram. This is amazing. This is amazing. That is some wild stuff. That is so beautiful and so scary at the same time. Obviously, it had to be, some sort of controlled thing. But man, just looking at that in its own, majestic setting, beautiful. Congratulations, way to go, Victoria Dauberville. What an amazing piece of footage there. Yeah, wow, boom, that's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe for more. Thanks again to Incogni for sponsoring today's episode. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.